Hey guys, Dr. Drew Brannon with AMPLOS and the Growth Project. I know that you guys are more familiar with the work we've done with the Growth Project, over 300 episodes over the last several years. And something new that we are introducing that we're really excited about is called the Growth Spurt. And these are going to be small bite-sized pieces of thoughts and insights and information coming from us on Mondays to help you kind of jumpstart your week, get you going, give you something to think about as you get into your week, both on the personal side and the professional side. We're really excited about being able to kind of bring this content to you and help power your week and your life, just like we do and have done historically with the Growth Project. So that being said, excited to kind of share this first one with you. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the differences in considerations of intensity versus consistency. And it's that time of year, right? And so it's January. We've been talking about it a lot on the Growth Project in some of our recent episodes, as we know people are trying to really get into their years and probably make some changes, right? Make some adjustments. You're adapting for growth. That's the idea. And one of the more common mistakes we see people make, although it's very well-intentioned, is they start this year and their focus is on intensity. How do they get there? Well, some of the most normal ways to get there is maybe you've come through the month of December and you've gotten into your year and you've done some really productive and healthy reflection, thinking about, all right, how do I feel about things last year? How did it go? Where do I feel like I won compared to where do I feel like there's some areas here that weren't quite what I wanted them to be? And when you go through that process, part of the normal reactions that begin to hit people are emotions, right? You get emotional about that. And as you look back on the year and those emotions begin to kind of take shape within you, what that often triggers is this strong feeling to do it differently, to fix it, to be better, to improve. And all of that is awesome. Like, we love all of that. But one of the downfalls that can sometimes lead to is those emotions often bubble up in the form of intensity of, I feel really impassioned about, I'm going to go attack this thing, or I'm going to be better in this area. I'm determined. I've got a bunch of willpower behind this, and all that's great. But as you play that through, the emotion triggers this focus on intensity, whether it's conscious or unconscious. And then what that often translates to next is we set the bar in a place that isn't realistic, isn't sustainable, and frankly, isn't very helpful for us. And that could be in so many different areas, whether it's your personal life, your professional life. It could be about a goal that I set or a resolution that I've made. And I just set a bar that's really high up there. And an easy example would be the one we talk about a bunch because it's easy to digest and then, kind of translate to your life, would be physical activity. And maybe someone was limited in what they were doing exercise-wise last year, and they've now in this new year, and it's a matter of like, hey, I'm going to the gym Monday through Friday. That would be a high intensity, high bar, not a great place to start if you're coming from a place of not going much at all, right? And so then what ends up happening is we don't hit the mark, we get discouraged, and things just kind of fall off very, very quickly. So intensity is all about high bar, quick sprint, massive shift of energy, time, attention, that type of thing, right? And there is a time and a place where intensity is important. But I also want to touch on consistency, which is more about building a plan that you can execute with regularity. Consistency is all about regularity and doing that over time in a sustainable way. We can be consistent in any aspect of our life, any domain of our life. But one of the keys to consistency is not setting a bar that's too intense, particularly in the early phases of the change you're trying to make. That's a huge, huge key. And what you see in the research is people who do best with developing consistency in their lives, the way they start is very specific. They start things by creating a very doable, feasible, digestible goal of some type, right? Now, let's think about the interaction of these two is if you do that well, and then you begin to build some consistency, you get some traction, you feel motivated, you're seeing some results, some really good things are happening. That's when it's the right time to begin upping the ante with respect to intensity. We get a little bit more intense. Now, dial carefully, dial strategically, but you begin to raise that, and then you establish some consistency at that level. then raise a little bit, and you just run this progression over time. And what you get is a really kind of dynamic and important interplay where you're understanding both intensity and consistency, but they're playing off of each other. It's not just one or the other. You don't want to just be consistent and never raise intensity. That's when you plateau, which is certainly not what we're after here. So both of these things matter. What I have found in working with a lot of high performers over the years is those that grasp those really well, and they're clear on what's what, and they're clear on the timing of when you really try to implement and manipulate each one of those, that's the key. That's the key to driving sustainable long-term results, which is what we want for everybody. So just wanted to break that down a little bit for you for kind of our first growth spurt. I hope you find that to be informative and wherever you are in your journey as you start your year and you're kind of getting things cranking. Share that with somebody, right? I think one of the best ways that we really get things into our lives and begin to put them into practice and implement them well is we share it with someone else, talk to them about how you're thinking about it, what you're doing with it. Maybe you can promote some accountability that way as well across some friends of yours or family members, whoever it might be. But we encourage you as you start this year to really be focused on your growth, pushing limits, aspiring to things. There's so many things that we know are hugely important in the lives of people, and we believe in wholeheartedly here at AMPLOS. So with that, have a great day, have a great week, and we're thankful for the opportunity to support you. Thanks.